Hey, what's going on, everybody? Sorry for the delay. I was just setting some things up, making sure everything is good to go. This is 4,000 nit spheres a month over here. They both like really clip the highlights here on the horses in the snow. You can kind of see, but like not like great. So they both definitely kind of clip. So of course this is a stress test for both TVs. Some TVs choose to lift like more of the stars to show like just more stars, I guess. And that will show way more blooming, way more gray. It's a loss either way. Either way you want to try to do it. It's not great. This is more like closer to what it no. I'd say this is kind of closer. Remember, this is high ISO, so like I'm having to raise the exposure to show you. All right, that's enough of that, I think. White dots. This is a white dot test. Curious to see if I switch the TV to medium, if it will show more white dots on the Sony. As you can see, when I have the menu up, it shows all the white dots. Yeah, so you can see like when I switch it to medium, like you can see more of the white dots come through. And then on low, but then like there's a lot more blooming. But then the white dots become really bright and then off. So like medium is definitely the best bet on this TV, I think, most of the time for most people, unless blooming is something that really annoys you every time you see it. And I'll be honest, like I don't see a ton of blooming even on medium on this TV, so I would just use medium, guys. Like I wouldn't even mess with the high local dimming unless you absolutely feel like you just need to. But okay, we'll keep it on high because that's the fair thing to do here. Let's see how the Samsung has its local dimming performance when we toggle it in this screen here. So we have local dimming high, the standard. Probably have to get out of it to really see it, huh? That's the thing I don't like about Samsung's menu system is like you kind of have to exit it to really see what it's doing. I mean, it might not have effects, like the algorithm might not even be affected by this. So, in low though, I can tell it is doing something different. Oh yeah, you can tell it. There's a difference. Kind of clamps it down more also. But again, we'll just keep them on high. Where are we at? So let's do a little bit of game mode, and then we're gonna go to some demos. Okay. or if you guys want to see, I don't know if you want to see Spears of Munsell in a different mode. If you do, type it in the chat. If you want to see Spears of Munsell in a different mode, type what mode you want to see. If not, I'll move on to gaming, and then we're gonna go to Apple TV. Mess around with some demos there, and maybe try to scroll through some movies if we can. I mean, keep in mind, like, Sony's not really marketing this TV as a gaming TV. So, their whole tagline is like cinema is coming home. Remember that? So it doesn't shock me that their game mode is not as good as, outside of game mode. A lot of people were upset that I said that. I'm just telling you what I see, okay? Like, that's just the truth. There's like a reduced feeling while we're in game mode compared to outside of game mode. That's pretty typical for mini LED TVs. I feel the same way with the QN900D. So let's go to advanced. Let's try to get like a challenging scene, like maybe a rain scene, like a rain at night, kind of like what I did in the video today. That might be cool. So let's do nighttime. Oh, we gotta change the track. I'll go weather. Let's go thunderstorm. That way we get like flashes and stuff. And people are gonna see what they want to see too, for sure. Like, no matter what I say, no matter what I do, they're gonna have their opinion of the best TV. It's the one they want, most likely, a lot of times. So there's that. Yeah, I might even have fun with you guys and throw in a mystery TV for this comparison. I don't know if I want to or not, but we'll see. Just looking at how they handle the local dimming in game mode right now, pretty similar, honestly. There's not. Do you guys see on stream? Are you seeing an advantage for one or the other in regards to local dimming, in regards to blooming? I'm not. I'm not really. I don't know if you guys can see that on stream or not. You want me to put the Sony on brightness preferred? It's gonna lift a lot more. I haven't found like positive results with brightness preferred on this TV. On the A95L, I thought, I kind of do like it. So we try it though. It definitely like makes blooming more evident for me personally. And like now I'm seeing blooming. Or before I'm not. But that orange is definitely brighter now. So there's a trade-off. You're gonna notice a lot more downsides. But again, things are lifted to now you're getting a night scene that's not looking as dark. So that's why I tend to not use brightness preferred, especially like on dark scenes. So let's start the race, and I'll show you what I kind of mean. Let me get this menu down. And I would say like it's kind of already on active. because it has dynamic tone mapping on by default when you use gradation preferred. As you can see, it's just like more lifted. So it's lifting things up. Not really something you want in a darker game, in my opinion. This is definitely slippery, harder to control. I mean, I thought this game was hard to control before, and now I think I've just hit like the end game when it comes down to controlling in the rain. This game's already hard to control. Wow. Okay. Stay on the track. Yeah, you could see that the Sony is definitely lifting. They're both doing some backlight fluctuations quite a bit. Like I see that on both TVs. Very distracting, I would say. Let's see if I can go into photo mode and see if I can notice some things. Yeah, I'm gonna take it off of brightness preferred because that's too lifted. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, because I don't want the shadows lifted so much where it's not the way it's just way too bright. There's like the shadows shouldn't be that bright. So that's what kind of brightness preferred. The downside to that is. So far, like I'm not noticing an advantage for one or the other. The highlights are definitely brighter on the Bravia 9. I'm probably clipping on camera. I'm trying not to clip on camera, but I think it's just this is clipping anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. I'm just trying to get it brighter so you can kind of see any sort of downsides we see on the rain. Yeah, I would say that the QN900D here for the rain, like in between it, is definitely a little bit more hazy. So backlight's doing better on the Bravia 9 here, I would say. But they're pretty close. There's not a ton of separation. There's more detail here, like the dynamic tone mapping is doing a much better job on the Sony of showing detail. Here the yellow is ridiculously bright on the QN900D. You can see that difference in brightness when the light's shining off of it. So like they're definitely having their pros and cons here in game mode, and honestly kind of trading blows more than I expected. Both really pretty good for game mode and a mini LED. And you have to use that context, right? Because I'm looking at a lower tier OLED TV, and it looks way better than this in this kind of scene. Like there's no there's no way around that. But that said, they do a really good job for being mini LED TVs. They both have DSE, I'll tell you that. One is worse than the other. QN900D has a little bit worse DSE. You can see that when I move. Let's say like the DSE on the Sony is a little bit more vertical. All right, so let's go and keep racing here. I'm gonna switch the game in a second. Remember, we're just intending to find kind of the differences between these two. Not necessarily tell you like, hey, go buy this one or go buy this one. I think that they're both like really, really good TVs. Tough to say buy one or the other. I would probably buy the Bravia 9 over the QN900D based on the price tag. So there's that. I think that you pay this 8K tax, and some people really like what the Bravia 9 is delivering this year, and I do too. But I've heard a lot of positive things said about the QN900D, and when I first saw it, yeah, it was good, and it still is really good. I do think like the Bravia 9 is just as good. So far, that's what I'm observing. Game mode is pretty similar, honestly. Not too much difference. Let's go to a different game. Let's try the intro for Ghostwire. Actually, let's see. BatTech, thank you for the super chat. He says, can you test local dimming in cinema and game mode with the box test and DSE hockey test? Great stream so far. Yeah, you're talking about the Modern Wise hockey test? I'm not sure what you mean the box test. Are you talking about the local dimming with the boxes? Or are you talking about windows? Like where you would use to like measure the brightness? I'm not sure what the box test is. I'm not familiar. I know there's a lot of tests that involve some sort of box. But yeah, if you want to like let me know what you mean by that, I'll definitely do that. And thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat. All right, so we are caught up. So HDIG is not a thing on the Sony TVs. They don't have a proper hard clip. So I mean, you can kind of do it if you set it being off and then use gradation, but it still is going to dynamically tone map no matter what. So no matter what you do, it's still going to dynamically tone map. So there's no true like way of doing HDIG on a Sony TV. When the box moves, so you are talking about the local dimming test? Sure, we can do that. I think Villaman has a good one. Are you talking about the one that Villaman has? Because I think I could do that one. I also have the zone counter on Spears and Munsell. Is 8K noticeable in person? So you can play 8K videos on the Samsung. You can definitely notice the details from 4K to 8K if you are up close. So that's one thing, you do have to be fairly close. I think from afar, most people won't see it. You have to be really close to the TV to notice it. There's not a lot of 8K content, though. That's the unfortunate part. They both look really clear, though, on right now. So I actually like what the QN900D is doing with this game. They're both doing a really good job on this. Keep in mind, I'm actually looking at it next to an OLED TV. You guys can't see it, but I'm looking how it does. It's not 100%, gonna match it, of course. And that's the thing, I want to be really clear on this, like with the whole thing with the Bravia 9. This TV wasn't created to kill an OLED. It wasn't created to be the best TV that Sony has to offer. It was just created to be the best and brightest mini LED TV that Sony has to offer. So I think a lot of people cross their messaging and kind of get it mixed up. Oh, it's actually not that great of an OLED. I mean, it's a good OLED. Like if you bought it at the store, you'd be happy with it. I just put it there because it's really light to carry, so I just carried it over. Bring in the OLED, it's not fair. That's gonna have to be its own video, man. I wanted to really put the focus on mini LED versus mini LED. The moment you bring an OLED in, there starts to be some scenes that become very unfair to compare. And this stream's not about that. It's more about Bravia 9 versus QN900D. We'll get to OLEDs eventually. Yeah, B9 doesn't. This is a really good comment. The B9 doesn't need to beat OLED. I've been saying this for a while. Like it doesn't need to beat the OLEDs. It doesn't. I like the B9 for the fact that it's evolving mini LED. It's pushing it further. There's a reason to keep paying attention to it, All right. Let me set up the Apple TV. And while I do so, let me just ask you guys, what do you think of the stream so far? What do you want to see from YouTube? Any specific things? We're going to do the local dimming test and the DSC. When you look at a camera like this in TVs, again, I'm going to put this big so you guys can like take this with a grain of salt. Like when you see this, this is just going to be to demonstrate a point while my camera cools down. This is just what they do. This is what the cameras make the TVs look like. They will clip all the highlights, right? There's no clipping. There's no clipping going on right now on either TV. They both look really good. But with this Osmo Pocket 3 camera, it doesn't matter what you set it to. It doesn't have the dynamic range it doesn't have the same dynamic range as the Sony camera that I was using before. It doesn't have the same dynamic range as the Blackmagic camera. It just doesn't. We've been getting lied to. I don't think anybody intentionally lies to you. I think that your eyes have been getting lied to with a lot of ways you look at some TVs. You might think that like, okay, these TVs are going to be better than these TVs. But I don't think there's any comparisons being filmed like this. So I don't think you got to worry about like comparisons out there. So I don't think you've been lied to. That's why listen to the person behind the camera, right? Like when we watch all the videos, listen to the person behind the camera. They know um what they're seeing. I'm surprised at like how close these two TVs are, to be honest with you. For a lot of content. I think in Spears and Munsell, though, that definitely showed me that the contrast of the Bravia 9 pulls ahead. I actually expected the Bravia 9 to like kind of like wipe the floor almost, just because it is using this new like awesome innovation in backlight technology. But this is a $5,000 TV, so the QN900D is no slouch. I think it's on sale for $4,800, but still about $5,000. So you do have to keep that in mind, right? I need to make this bigger so you can see like um have fun with that. But yeah. The 900D does look good. On its own it looks good. Just like that's the thing, like if you look at these TVs on their own, I'm looking at them right now side by side. They're both in this movie mode and cinema mode. I'd be fine with either TV if it was on its own. Like you have to think of it in that way. If you look at them side by side, sure, the Bravia 9 has more contrast. It sticks out more. Just like if you look at, say, a G4 next to a C4, the C4 is not going to be as good as the G4. When you look at, say, even like an S90D versus an S95D, the S95D is going to be clearly better than the S90D. And I've done that comparison, and I've kind of talked to you guys about the differences there. 4800 TV beat by a 3300 TV. It happens a lot, actually. There's a lot of times where the most expensive TVs lose to a cheaper TV. They both do things like really good, though, extremely good. But I think the Bravia 9 is definitely great at what it does. Has your camera cooled down yet? Yeah. I'm gonna get that set up right. It's gonna be a little further away. What's going on here? ISO? I didn't like that. Okay. I'm gonna take the Osmo off the screen now. One sec. It's gonna be a different view. I'm sorry. Oh no, they don't look like they're in vivid mode no more. What are we gonna do? And doesn't it make it look like everything's in vivid mode? That's what the Osmo does. Makes it look like everything is in vivid mode. All right, let's go through some movies. So I'm raising the exposure to kind of see what the backlight's doing for this scene particularly. And we can see how it controls actually too. So I'm just curious to see how high it would do on this. So this is a high exposure. So keep that in mind. It's not what the TVs look like right now. but you can physically see blooming in the scene. So you can see that going to high will clamp it down more. Do you see that? The only reason why I'm in high ISO is so you can kind of see this, like, because like here's low, right? And here's off, off, low, medium, high. So you lose some brightness in his face and stuff, but it's actually, this is a scene where like I could see why people would want to use high for this scene. Um, let's see what the Samsung can do for its different local dimming controls. I hate how bright these menus are when I'm trying to show this off, especially since I'm gonna have to exit after I switch this local dimming to medium, because low, low is basically like not what you want. Let's go to standard then. So that's standard. It doesn't look too much different than high. Let's try high again. I hope this is useful for you guys. If this is something you don't want to see, though, tell me, please. Keep it on high for both? Okay, yeah. For this kind of stuff that we're going to test, let's keep it on high for both. Let's keep it on high for both. Yeah, I'm overexposing, so that is why blooming is sticking out. If I set the exposure normal, there's still a little bit of blooming, right? Like, if I'm just viewing this, I'm gonna notice the blooming. I am, right? That's just how it is. But it's not like egregious. And if you're somebody who wears glasses, I doubt you even notice it. I know that's like a weird thing to say, but it is something that have observed by owning an LCD TV. Like when I had the Q90T, that TV did tend to bloom sometimes, but when it did, it didn't bother me all that much. I'm trying to find a good middle ground because it looks like right now the C4 is crushing, but it's not. Um, it's just really hard to show this scene on a camera. The dynamic range. I think the C4 probably even dimmed. Let's be real. So let's change the scene. Because if you leave a static image on an OLED this long, it will start to dim. So let's change it. Let's change the scene. I'm gonna have to put this like in the. Oh God. even the screensaver was like kicking in there. All right, let me find another scene here. I'm gonna find a scene with her in it, where she just like enters. Okay, this is a pretty good one. All right, so here is that. So here's normal exposure. Let's see. About what I see right now. It's about what I see right now. I think that the Bravia 9 is handling this a little bit better. OLED's crushing the wall. Yeah, it was looking like that on camera, but it wasn't actually crushing the wall. Like if I raise the camera ISO up, you could see that it's not. Like in my eyes, it looked fairly similar to the other TVs. So I didn't see any crushing there. I would say that the back wall to the left here is lifted on the QN900D a little bit, because as you can see, like the Bravia 9 is actually matching what the C4 is showing here. So I'm gonna raise the exposure so you can see exactly where the problem areas are coming from. I think this shows you kind of like a good example of how it controls the zones. And this is why I give the Bravia 9 so much props yesterday or today in my first impressions, right? Like, because I think it does a really good job. I think it does a really good job. So let's go to another scene. Please hit the like button if you guys appreciate me kind of showing this. A lot of work goes into setting the stream up. A lot of cameras died for our causes here in showing you this. Don't see anything. If I missed something, again, leave it in the comments. Thank you guys so much for coming by. You guys are always awesome. Have a great night, and thank you for watching.